What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. In this one, it's team selection time for Game Week 8. I am going to go through Game Week 7, even though it feels like it was ages away. Obviously, the international break has kind of dragged on, but then we will look ahead to Game Week 8 as well, transfers, captaincy, and that kind of stuff. So in Game Week 7, just going to jump straight into it. 61 points. Really happy with that because last week, there wasn't too many really high scores around, and that gave me a Game Week rank of 146k, which is really hard. Love to get that every single week, because then I'd basically win FPL. And my rank has gone from like 52 or 55k, something like that, up to 10,378. So that's really nice. I'm very happy to be there at this stage of the season. I would say for anyone that's worried about their rank, they're still very close together, the points. So we haven't really spread out yet. I think around Game Week 14 or 15, that might happen. For anyone that watched my videos last year, I had my best ever finish. I finished like 1300th or something like that. I can't remember the exact rank. And I wasn't anywhere near this rank at this stage of last season, where I've gone back and checked. I think it was like Game Week 14 or 15 when I started getting into the top 50k and top 20k. So anything can happen from now until the end of the season. But it is still nice to be close to the top 10k at this stage of the season, even though one bad game week would probably see me fall out of the top 100k or something crazy. In terms of who did well, I mean, obviously I wildcarded last minute. We had the Ronaldo benching news. I wasn't sure if it was 100% legit, but there was just a few tweets going around where I just thought, right, I'm going to use it. And obviously I said a few times last week that I had the wildcard ready if I did need to use it. And Bomber obviously was really nice. I already had Jimenez, so I didn't drop him on wildcard like some people did. So I'm happy with that decision. Whether or not that'll work out going forward, I hope it does, but we'll see. Because I think a lot of people going with Game Week 8 wildcards and maybe not going for him. Obviously, double Chelsea defence, double Man City defence, no Trent Alexander-Arnold because he was injured. And it really was Jimenez, Mbommo and Azpilicueta that came up with the goods. I took Sanchez out. He got the same amount of points as Ramsdale anyway, so I didn't really win out there. And most people have got Salah anyway. So it really was Azpilicueta, Mbommo and Jimenez that kind of did the business for me. Most other players actually blanked. It was just one of those weeks. It wasn't a great week. So to come out with 61 was brilliant, to be honest. I was very happy with that. But let's see how well this team is going to stand up to Game Week 8 wildcards. We're going to talk about my Game Week 8 team in just a second, but before that, we'll talk about Ultimate Fan. So happy to say that I have partnered with Ultimate Fan. If you have not checked it out and you're 18 or over from the UK or from Ireland, make sure you do. There is a link in the description below. You just have to be 18 or over from the UK or Ireland. Like I said, it's completely free to play and there's cash prizes up for grabs. Fantasy football meets pack openings. Now, I've got some packs. I've got the app opening here. So I'm going to open now, right? So you get a base pack every single week. So every Tuesday you get a new pack. Mane. Now that is a nice pick. I'm very happy with that because I don't think I've got any Liverpool attackers yet. So that is damn good. Really happy with Mane. Iheanacho, maybe not quite so good at the moment, but if he gets a run in the team, he could be decent too for Leicester. And some guy from Brentford. Roslav. I definitely pronounced that wrong, but I don't see him being in the pack or being in my team too often. And then you also get, if you sign up for the silver or gold subscription, you also get some extra packs as well. So you get a gold pack every single week. There is a subscription for that. It's a one-off payment every single month. And it's about £5 or €5 for mine, I think it is. And you get some extra players in there as well. You can't buy unlimited packs, so don't worry about everyone going out and buying loads and loads of packs. So we've got Kyle Walker-Peters and that. Sterling as well, if he gets his place in the Man City team, would be nice. And Højbjerg, which I'm probably not going to play too often. And this pack you see here is for Clash. So every single game week, there's a new contest and you get put in with a few other people as well into a separate game. And if you win that, if you get the most points ahead of everyone else, you get another free pack as well. So that's my Clash pack as well. So we've got 3 packs to open this week. And that with Mason Mount, not too bad with Chelsea's upcoming fixture run. So once you've done that, you just have to pick your team. So you go into the team itself, you can just edit it and change all the players around that you want. Remember that it is just for one game week. So it doesn't matter if you think the player is going to be awful for the rest of the season. If they're going to be good for this week, if they've got a good fixture, now is the time to bring them in. So I think Ruben Dias instead of Semedo, for example. Probably keep Rudiger in there right now. Although if Reece James is past fit, I'll probably put him in as well. And then I can change my golden boot where you get double points for goals, and captaincy as well where you get double points for goals and basically everything, assists, etc. Right? So I'm probably not going to keep that on Bruno Fernandes. I'm actually probably going to put my captaincy on Kane, which sounds crazy, I know, but it is Newcastle away, so it's a pretty good team, and I'm just going to confirm that, and that is it. My team is then locked in for this game week, and then I'll change it for next game week. I'll get a new pack next week as well. So if you want to give it a go, there is a link in the description below. Make sure to check that out. If you want to sign up for the gold or silver subscription, you can do that as well to get some extra packs. You just need to be 18 or over from the UK or Ireland. Go and check it out now. Okay, so game week 8, 2.1 million in the bank. Now that money is pretty much for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I made that decision last week to go into this week with enough money to get him back. As you can see, the defense looks pretty good. Like, I don't really need Trent, although he is brilliant, right? And I'm not trying to downplay the fact that he is the best defender in FPL. Watford away would scare me. I'm probably not even sure I could bring myself to watch the Watford match if I don't own Trent Alexander-Arnold and he starts. But when you look at this defense, right, Ramsdale and goal, obviously, the aim now is not to make any transfers on goalkeeper unless he gets injured. I still think you can make a case to go for Sanchez, but I've gone with Ramsdale. I'm hoping that Arsenal defense improves. Obviously, it's done well in the last few game weeks as well. It's not just about the short-term fixtures, but long-term, I hope they do okay. But we'll have to wait and see. Cancelo and Laporte, obviously, they are two players that aren't exactly nailed on, right? I think right now Laporte seems to have the place over Stones, and we saw that last year. When Stones got the place, it was kind of his, especially in the more tougher games. And Cancelo starts most games. A lot of that is going to revolve around when Zinchenko's back. Once he's back, Cancelo could miss the odd game, but he could also play it right back, and Walker could miss the odd game as well. So I don't think I'm going to miss too many games with those two right now. And obviously, Burnley at home looks really good for a clean sheet. Cancelo really good for attack and returns. Laporte not bad in the air as well from set pieces. And obviously I've got Azpilicueta against Brentford. So right now I'm playing a 3-4-3. So if I bring Trent in, I've then got to bench one of those defenders, which isn't necessarily bad, because if it was a straight up choice between having Trent or Azpilicueta in my team this week, I would definitely want Trent Alexander-Arnold. I just don't know whether I should use that one free transfer. So possibly I could bring Trent in. The other issue is, I'm not 100% sure exactly who I would take out. So if Reece James is not 100% fit or not 100% available, if Tuchel says something like that in his press conference, there's a chance that Azpilicueta will play right wing back again, right? But if he is back, then Azpilicueta might just be back to right centre-back. And if that's the case, I don't know if he's worth the extra money over Rudiger, in which case if Rudiger is fine, and I'm sure most of these flagged players are going to be okay, especially the ones that aren't like in Brazil. Like, there's a few flagged players like Rafinha now, but I think Rudiger and Lukaku, it was kind of like slight muscle injuries or minor injuries. I suspect Tuchel's going to say they're fine. So I could just play Rudiger instead, or just keep him longer term and not have Azpilicueta. So the defence looks fine. Like, there is nothing wrong with it. But I know that I kind of want Trent back. I think if he had a slightly better fixture in Game Week 9, I'd be more inclined to just do it right now. Because Man United away is not that great. Like I do get the whole Trent is so attacking, it doesn't matter if they lose a clean sheet. But obviously the damage he can do once they've lost a clean sheet is lessened, right? He has to then get 2 attacking returns to kind of really hurt people. And I don't think that's that likely, even for Trent. I know he got the odd 4 returns or whatever it was against Leicester a season or 2 ago, but that's obviously not something that's going to happen very commonly. So I do want Trent. I just wonder if I can wait till game week 10. My only reservation with doing that is, if I want him in 2 game weeks anyway, why not just get him for Watford if we know he's starting? Because it's the early game, like I do think Trent will play, but there is obviously a chance that it might not happen because he's just back from injury. So they might just ease him in gently, maybe give him 30 minutes off the bench. I'm not quite sure, right? Obviously they've got a tough Champions League game midweek, so they're going to want to give him some time. But if we do find out he's not starting, then obviously I don't want to buy him. So I will leave it to the last minute again, because Liverpool are playing at 12:30 on Saturday. And if we get early team news that he's starting, then I probably will bring him in. And it probably will be for Azpilicueta. But I haven't quite ruled out going without Rudiger instead. I just think Laporte and Cancelo got 3 kind of really nice fixtures coming up. And if they stay in the team, they're such good value. Like Laporte for 5.5 million is proper decent. So I don't really want to get rid of him. Plus, I think if I had the choice between double City or double Chelsea, I probably would long-term favour the City boys, even though Azpilicueta and Rudiger are a bit more nailed on. I think just with the squad I've got, I can kind of take that risk. So right now, defence is fine. I'm probably going to bring in Trent if he's playing. I just don't know whether it's going to be for Azpilicueta or Rudiger. I think it has to be for Azpilicueta just to take a little bit more money out of the defence, but I'll make that decision on Saturday. Okay, so bringing in the midfield, right, that 2.1 million is pretty much for Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? I'm not sitting here pretending that I don't want him back at some point and I'm going to spend the money elsewhere. There is a possibility that I could use it, right? Let's say Trent was, although he's basically been said he's available, let's say for some reason he has a reoccurrence of the groin injury and he's ruled out. I could use the money on someone like Rafinha if he's not going to play, although I do want him a bit longer term, or Saka to a Man City midfielder. And like, I do get the hype around Man City midfielders, because if you nail the right one, you can get some big points. But I think sometimes as FPL managers, we kind of forget that other players can score points as well. And the thing that's really putting me off Man City right now, I am that kind of manager that gets put off risks like this, right? There are other managers that like it, right? And that's fair enough. That's their kind of tactic and how they want to play. Is that pretty much all of them are fit right now? I don't know what the situation is with Gundogan because he was flagged. I don't know if he'll be back. We'll have to wait and see what Pep says. But pretty much all their players, all their attackers are available. Whether or not Pep wants to play him is a different matter. So that just makes the likelihood of rotation even bigger. They got a Champions League game in midweek. And people come up with all these theories and they try and look at patterns and stuff to say, well, this player is definitely going to play because he's not going to play in the Champions League. And they always forget this is Pep Guardiola. And I feel like the reason I'm not so worried right now, because of the fact they're all ready or available pretty much, is that the stress is almost doubled. So first of all, you've got the stress of will they start the game. So let's not pretend if you've got a Man City midfielder, you are waiting for that team sheet an hour before the game, right? Because you're not sure if your player is going to play. So that's the first thing. And if they don't play, which there's always a likelihood of happening, like people that buy Man City players and then are shocked when they get benched is crazy. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Cancelo and Laporte were both benched at some point. So they get benched. And then in game number 2, when you're then hoping that they play, right, because you're hoping there's rotation, they miss one, they play one, they miss one, they play one, the need for them to score or do something is then like doubly increased, because if they don't score or assist in that game, you know there's a chance they're not going to start the third game. So suddenly you're 3 games in, they've only started once, right? Because you can say, because this is what a lot of people do, they say, well, if they start every 1 in 2 games, people say this with Jota as well, that's enough. Right, because they might come off the bench. We know they can do damage. But I don't know if it is enough because they don't play the first one. They really need to do something in the second one, because if they don't, you're on to game 3 and you've got nothing from your Man City midfielder. Meanwhile, people have gone for other picks which start every single game week, and at least they've ticked over with a few points. So that's why I'm not really too worried. Like I think if anyone wants to go for him, fair enough. If you think that Torres is going to come in for this Burnley game because he's had a lot of rest for Man City, or you think that Foden's going to keep starting, then fair enough. But you cannot buy these players and then be shocked when they don't play. So would I like a Man City midfielder in here? Yes, I would. But Mbeumo is obviously a lot cheaper, and he's basically nailed on at the moment. We'll have to see if that continues. Rafinha, you know my love for him. So really it would have to be Saka, because even if Rafinha's benched, I think the fixtures afterwards, Wolves at home, Norwich away, Leicester at home, they're not that bad. I will be honest, right? If he misses this game, then that will be frustrating, and maybe those that have gone without will kind of end up being the winners, because he has missed... there's not that he's missed games, but he has had like minutes off. But obviously in those games where he only played 60 minutes, he scored anyway. So I don't really want to get rid of Rafinha. And it just feels crazy getting rid of Saka. Crystal Palace at home, followed by Villa at home, Leicester away, Watford at home. 3 pretty nice home fixtures in the next 4. Do I really want to go to a Man City midfielder? I don't think I do. Those that are on wildcard, I get it. You can do it in one move. You're not transferring someone out. And obviously we know that Man City are probably going to put 4 or 5 against Burnley. So again, your attacker will probably get some kind of points, and you hope they're the attacker that goes mad and gets like 2 or 3 returns. But I think for my team, I can't do it. So I just wanted to talk about Man City midfielders once more. Very similar points to what I made yesterday in the preview video, but I just don't think I want to go there. I don't buy into this 1 in 2 is good. It's not. You want your player to start every single week, right? Because as good as the stats are, if they play 1 in 2, you've almost got to have the stats, right? If they're on like 0.6 expected goal involvement per 90 minutes, but they only play an average of 45 minutes, then you've got to have that number, right? Versus some of these players that are going to play every single game. Like when fit right now, Rafinha and Mbeumo, Salah and Saka are going to start. I've got no concern. So basically, that's a very long way of saying I ain't making any transfers for my midfield. If Rafinha doesn't play, I'll play Rudiger or Livramento off the bench. I'm not really concerned about that. And Salah is my captain because, come on, he's playing Watford. Do we even need to discuss it? Do I even need to make a captaincy video tomorrow? Probably not. And if I do, it'll be very, very short. Okay, so coming on to the strikers as well. Lukaku's flagged too. Again, I feel like he is definitely going to start. We'll have to see what Tuchel says in the press conference, but this is going to happen every international break. We are going to get these flags on players because they get minor injuries. They want to get back to their club or whatever it might be. They don't want to take the risk in certain games. So I think Lukaku will be fine. I think Rudiger will be fine. I think the biggest issue for my team is probably Rafinha, just because he is going to start Brazil's last game, and it's like 1:30 a.m. British time on Friday morning. Obviously, then they got the game on Saturday as well. So it is a few more hours than I said in yesterday's video because I got the time a little bit mixed up. But it's still a quick turnaround time. It depends how quickly they can get them back to the UK. And obviously, it's an away game. But with Lukaku, I'm not particularly worried. I guess I should quickly touch on what if Lukaku misses out. I think because I'd won him captain against Norwich in Game Week 9, I'd have to keep him. So as of right now, apart from that Trent move, I'm not really looking to make any transfers. Like if Rudiger was ruled out, then Rudiger to Trent would definitely happen, and then I'd have him, and then I'd probably bench Mbomo, and then he'd be on the bench then to come on if Rafinha doesn't play. So that's kind of how I'm playing it. I just don't want to make too many rash decisions based on flags from an international break when they'll probably be fine. And obviously I've set this team up to be good over the next couple of weeks, so I don't really need to transfer these players out. Antonio I'm keeping for now. Again, I do think there's a constant conversation to be had, especially as we get closer and closer to that really bad run of fixtures, about possibly removing him. But if he keeps starting these next 3 games, and hopefully he'll get some rest in the European competition, I wouldn't like to see him play every Premier League game and every Europa Conference or whatever it's called for West Ham. That would be annoying. I don't think he'd be able to keep up with that. And obviously it's not just him we need to be worried about, it's the rest of the West Ham team as well. Obviously he might get a rest, but the rest of them might not. So whether or not their performances will be so good in the league, we'll have to monitor. But they do have a pretty tricky run coming up. So I'm not planning on getting rid of him yet. But at some point, him or Jimenez to Tony to get a bit of extra money to maybe make an upgrade somewhere else is on the cards. So we'll have to see how they do over the next few weeks. But Jimenez, I think, has been fine. He did play for Mexico, I think, last night. Wolves did tweet before the international break started that he would be available. So Villa away, Leeds away, Everton at home, Palace away. It's a bit annoying that 3 of the next 4 are away. But overall, that's a pretty nice fixture run. He's nailed. He's going to play 90, apart from maybe after the international break. And he's on penalties as well. So I've got no real reason to change that forward line at all. And because I have got a playing bench, it obviously makes me a little bit less worried too. So I think that's the team. I think if I know Trent's starting, I'm going to have to bring him in. Probably for Azpilicueta, but possibly for Rudiger. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to make any other changes to the team. I'm going to hope. I mean, it'd be nice to save a transfer. I don't think I'm going to be able to. But a team in Game Week 9, barring injuries, is going to look really good anyway. So I shouldn't need to make a transfer in Game Week 9. So if I make it this week, that's probably okay. Although last time I said that, I got loads of flags when I made a transfer I didn't really need to do. But yeah, I think the team is looking solid. I'm very happy with it. Would love another 61 points and another green arrow. Let's see how it goes. But let me know if you think there's any other moves I should be making. So there we go. If you enjoyed that, do give it a like and hit that subscribe button if you are new around here. Do not forget to check out Ultimate Fan as well. There is a link in the description below. You just need to be 18 or over from the UK or from Ireland. It is completely free to play and there's real money up for grabs. So there's no reason not to at least just give it a go. Get your packs open, put a team together, just submit it for this game week and see what happens. There'll be a new contest next week, then the week after, and obviously you get your pack every single week as well. So make sure to check that out. Link in the description below. And lastly, I just want to give a big shout out to Jonathan M, who has signed up since the last video for Patreon. If you want to support me over there, there's links to that in the description below as well. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I don't know if I'm going to do a final thoughts video. I will do a captaincy video, even though obviously it's Mo Salah this week, but we might talk about a few other picks. Otherwise, it's deadline stream on Saturday, which I'll see you for, and we'll decide whether we need to bring Trent Alexander-Arnold in or not. Otherwise, my team is pretty locked. Let me know what you think about it below. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.